Man, I'm in here working and I hear like all kinds of noises coming from my spare room with my tegus. I come in here and I wish I could remember to always to have my camera in hand or a photo. I come in here and the tegus are acting so surprised they stop exactly what they're doing, and they stop and they freeze and they look at me like I've caught them doing something. And uh, and they're always doing something where I walk in and I'm amazed. I'm like, what are y'all doing? They're hanging from something. Or, like, say, Max just up here screwing around, throwing my stuff off my little roll around work table. He climbs up there. They love this room. They're constantly, now, it's not a gorgeous reptile room or cage decorated with faux rocks and everything, but they really get a kick out of being in this room with this random stuff to climb on. And it's good exercise. So, man, it's just so funny. They're making so much noise. Sassy loves to get under here. Of course, she's sitting right over here under her light, but all day long they get into these boxes that they love to get into, and climb all over the stuff. And it sounds like there's three little 5-year-olds in here going crazy, and me just in the other room. I'm like, what is going on in there? And they climb in a box, and I just have a packing sheet in here, and they just get under that, and sometimes they sleep under it. I come in here and Max sitting on top of the toolbox, just sitting here relaxing. And then Sassy, and then I got a little tree branch that they like to climb on for some reason, and helped them to come from the floor up here to up here. And they're such cool little animals, so inquisitive, and very personable little animals, these tegus. And they are so smart because when I come in, they freeze and their little eyes get wide and they look at me like I caught them in the act doing something. And Sassy looks at my hand. She's looking at something outside right now, outside the window. Caught her attention, but they look at my hands to see if I'm bringing in food, and then they immediately notice that I don't have food in my hands. And then they get into just not feeding mode, and they just hang out. And I walked in here and I didn't have my camera with me, but both Mac and Sassy were sitting here and they were facing front, mouth to mouth. And I walked in and I was like, y'all are kissing. Oh, how cute. And I didn't have my camera with me. It would have been great to capture because I was like, what are y'all doing? But the Mac and Sassy tend to like to hang out with each other, male and female. I mean, then maybe when they're 3 years old and older, and they just mate, and then the rest of the 364 days a year they hate each other and want to tear each other's heads off. But right now, Sassy and Mac love hanging out with each other. Very unique having two, a male and a female, which I did not intend to have. One was just fine, but there's a backstory why I have two, and I made a video about that. But so yep, they hang up there. I mean, who would have thought that just having a I don't know, a card in here, that they'd love to get on that and hang out and hang off of it, fall off of it, climb on top of it. I don't know what they're trying to do. But such cool reptiles, and I wouldn't be too upset, but I guess I see why. Some people that have young tegus and they're not turning into super, or appearing to turn into super sweet tegus. I guess just give it time, and and just spend a lot of time with your tegus, holding them, feeding them, hand feed them, I wouldn't necessarily, well, I mean, you can hand or tongue feed them if you don't want to get your fingers nipped at, and the tegus are really aggressive at, taking the food, when they see it. You definitely don't want to get bit. But, feed them and take the time and sit down and touch their food and touch them, touch their noses, touch their heads, touch their throats. Pick the skin off of them, soak them in the tub, hold them. I never did anything like taking a dirty shirt and sticking that in there or any of that BS. I mean, I've heard that with dogs and things. I didn't jump on that bandwagon, but I just pick them up, love on them, talk to them, brush them, I've mentioned in videos with a little brush to scratch their backs, and massage vitamin oil into their skin. And I put lotion on them before to help them shed, skin lotion, vitamin E, vitamin D. And I've had good luck with a lot of that stuff. But my tegus, they're pretty friendly. Sassy's, she, like her name, is a little sassy and does not like to sit still. But she is full of energy. And Mac, she doesn't like to sit still, where Mac will lounge out and hang out. Sassy's got to constantly be moving and doesn't necessarily like to be held, meaning that I'm keeping her captive. She doesn't like to be restrained. She's letting me do that right now, but doesn't like that, where Mac's a completely different Tegu. He's male and Sassy's female. But, they're in here in just this room and play around. I mean, they're constantly making noises, crawling behind things, climbing on things, jumping on things. They don't get on this table. I've never seen them be able to get up on that table because I don't want them up there, because all this would be thrown off onto the floor. And I've got camera equipment and a bunch of camera parts and things. But they love their hides. There's hide number one, a smaller hide, my second hide that I built to take up less room in a cage. And there's some hay in there, some like feeding hay, rabbit hay. They love to lay in the hay like a little farm animal. And then there's my bigger hide, which is actually quite big and probably weighs about 40 pounds. They both have lids that come off. And there you can see there's hay in there. Mac likes to typically sleep in here. Sassy does too, but sometimes Sassy and Mac don't want to sleep together. I mean, they sleep a lot together, but then there's some times that they don't. And Mac will sleep in here too. They switch up, both of them. But they love to get in this box, and I've got camera straps. And they knock that stuff out every single day. They climb in here and kick all this stuff out on the floor. And every day I have to come back and put it back in the box. And they knock everything over. And they're just over here watching me make this video. It's so interesting. Their little eyes follow me around and look at me as I do things. They're thinking. Sassy's like constantly hungry. Sassy's stomach will be so full and so hard, and she would eat again and again and again until she exploded. She never stops eating. But that's the video. Mac's just hanging out, watching. They're real intent on watching me when I come in the room. Their little heads will follow me and watch where I go and what I'm doing. And you can see their little eyes thinking, when their eyes are following you and they're really paying attention to you. It'd just be neat to know what they're thinking. It'd be really cool to understand, We say that about dogs and cats too. But Sassy sees me up here hanging out with Mac, and Sassy wants to come up. Even though she acts like she doesn't like me as much as Mac does, she still wants to get some interaction. That's the video. Have a great day. Love on your tegus and reptiles and snakes, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.